You know, when the political heavyweights in Kano provoked the emirate tussle, little did they know it was going to assume a tendentious, crazy life of its own. Today, the battle of the thrones, if you permit that, even after the intervention of the apex court, has refused to yield to reason and rationality. Both emirs, Muhammadu Sanusi and Aminu Bayero, held parallel turbaning of Galadiman Kano. So while Sanusi turbaned Munir Sanusi Bayero, Bayero in his part turbaned Sanusi Ado Bayero as Galadiman. So one is tempted to conclude that good old Kano has murdered sleep.
Yes, and you know, it's such a shameful thing.
Oh, yeah.
That this is allowed to go on. Sanusi, the emir preferred by the current governor of Kano State, used to live in the same house as the Ado Bayero. He lived in the he lived in the same house as Bayero. They even intermarried. No, not neighbors. He lived inside their own father. He lived, their own father was his guardian. He lived inside the same house as the person who is contesting the stool with him now. You understand? And they also married, from the other side. So they are joined together by marriage and extended family ties.
And by blood.
So, naturally, you won't expect this kind of thing to be happening. But what happened is, the case, the Bayero won the case originally at the lower court, and then there was an appeal. That appeal was won by Sanusi, but the Bayero's people appealed to the Supreme Court and asked that the judgment should not be implemented since the matter was going to the apex court. You know, if I use the example of murder, for example, they will not implement judgment at appeal level, even if the court says, go and take this person's life, especially with the notice of appeal. They will hold on and wait until the final court decides that matter. So, by the same legal principle, they wanted the case to be, implementation should be held, should not happen until the matter is fully decided. And the apex court told the appeal court, you know, to communicate with the litigants that this is his decision. The matter went back. So the appeal court now said, okay, maintain status quo. So by maintaining status quo, it means that the judgment which validated Sanusi's enthronement as emir had been put in abeyance while they wait for the apex court to decide. So Bayero will see himself as an emir just the same way that Sanusi will see himself as an emir. And even the rites that they usually do after Salah, the Hawan Doshe and Hawan Nasarawa. Hawan Nasarawa is the emir will go and pay homage to the governor. You know, and talk about the achievements in the course of because the governor's seat, the seat of power in Kano is in Nasarawa, so that's why they call it Hawan Nasarawa. And the other one, Hawan Daushe, is what we know as the Doba, where they move around. So police said, no, you cannot do Doba. So those two Hawans were not done, contrary to tradition. All because of the possibility of one of the factional emirs moving around and then causing bloodshed to happen. And indeed, after he led prayers, after Sanusi led prayers, you know, at the mosque. His convoy was attacked when he climbed a horse and was now moving around. The convoy was attacked and one person was killed and another person, I don't know, maybe he succumbed to his injuries, and that was what led to the invitation extended to Sanusi, because there was an understanding based on the decision of the police that neither of them should perform those cultural rites. You know, but the moment people saw him on a horse, they assumed that, oh, despite your position being disputed, you are trying to carry out those cultural rites, and it led to violence. So, as things stand now, that position, the Galadiman of Kano, is a very big traditional
key position.
Yes, and that man, Sanusi, had held on to it for long. When I was living in Kano, he was the most influential chief at that time. So with the passage of that person, naturally the two contending emirs, because they have different thrones. This one is occupying, Sanusi is occupying the main palace. Bayero is occupying the annex. Both of them see themselves as emir. You need to see when they are moving around, they both have crowd, because the matter has already been politicized, citizen. Those who have sympathy for NNPP, which is the ruling party in the state, Kwankwaso's party, they are largely behind Sanusi. The other people who have sympathy for Bayero, they are largely the APC political. So the politics has come in, and it's such a big shame. So now, this one, Sanusi appointed a new Galadiman, chose his relation. The other person, in order to cancel Sanusi out, he too appointed another Galadiman. He too also chose his own brother. Sanusi is a well-known, Sanusi Bayero was even somebody who contested for that stool before. He's a very big corporate player, chairman of some big corporate bodies in our country. So I just pray, and let me be clear. No matter what the Supreme Court decides, I'm not sure this whole thing will end. Because we've seen the courts decide in Gwandu, in the case of the Gwandu Emirate. But a person that the former governor, Adoalero, appointed, is holding on to this stool, despite the courts favoring the man who used to be there, who was deposed. That is a former ADC to, what's his name? Mustafa Jokolo, the former ADC to the Nigerian president. Mustafa Jokolo is still waiting to go back to his stool.
Doctor, aren't you troubled that the traditional institution, which was closely guarded and guided, remember, the Gowon government was the one that first gave staff of office to traditional rulers, so it's become norm. But when you politicize it, like Kano, look at good old Kano.
The truth is, there is so much money involved now in these things, influence peddling. So people are really, really struggling to ensure that they become monarchs. Sometimes when I see somebody who is doing well, maybe in the private sector, or is a big shot in the government, say, I'm going back to rule my people. I used to wonder, why? Then later, when we now started getting into the era of social media, and we are seeing the kind of things that are being done at that level, I now know that there is so much to desire in being a traditional ruler. The kind of influence that they wield, it's a big deal. You will have read about some monarchs, even in the Southwest, who have been taken to court because they have taken people's land, they have taken... those are the
in your state, as we speak, yes. There's wahala about these two.
So many, not even one, not one in my own state.
Yeah,
some have been resolved. Though, if another government comes into power, it will change the status quo again. It will reverse it.
That's why people are saying Sabon Governor, Sabon Seriki. They are even now saying that, look, maybe in future, given the embarrassment that we've seen in Kano, that when somebody is making his poster, he will put the picture of his preferred emir.
We're likely to see that, truly. Because it has become a big deal now to become an emir.
It's even likely, the way we are going in Kano, the politics of the next election
will be determined by
this. Actually, this matter will be the determinant of how the whole thing will be resolved in terms of who becomes the next governor.
I was going to say
because politics has really gotten involved, and it's not a good thing that a respected stool like the Emir of Kano has been reduced to this. You know, and some of the people who are made emirs by this by the Ganduje administration.
Okay.
It means that with the new law, they've lost their stool.
They've lost it.
Some big politicians that those new emirs turbaned as traditional chiefs. They too
run the risk of
they've lost their positions. That they run, they've lost their positions. So you can see that it's even affecting the politics of the state. I know a politician now who defected because he's not happy. He defected from NNPP to the APC because he's one of the victims of the new law. So now the new law will brought back Emir Sanusi as first-class traditional ruler. Like Sokoto, Kano used to have only one traditional
major.
One first-class traditional ruler. In Sokoto, that's the case too. Kano used to have just one. But Ganduje, the former governor, decided to create new emirates.
I think he created about five.
Gaya, Rano, and all of them. So, but with the scrapping of that law, the current administration has restored the primacy of the stool, making it the only first-class traditional.
That's the Emir of Kano.
Kano, yes.
The authentic stool recognized.
Being the sole first-class traditional ruler in the state. But that is being challenged. They've gone through the upper court, but I still think that even that will not resolve
I agree with you, it will not.
So the Game of Thrones, if
except one of them is removed by a governor. So one of them. But if a new governor comes in,
and changes,
and you know, I said they are now divided politically, and that governor is leaning to the opposition. If the opposition claims the state, now one of the first things they are likely to do is to remove Sanusi as emir, so that they can have, even before the court decides. That's likely to happen. Is that bad now?
Doctor, one prays that Kano would not be seen as having murdered sleep, because I can,
but they are not sleeping now.
Well,
like people said, when the two emirs move, they move with their convoys.
They move with their convoys. And the man, even if Sanusi wanted to do those cultural rites, the police barricaded his palace after the attack on his convoy. For his own good, they decided to barricade, so he cannot even move out to go and do those cultural rites. And on the day that thing happened, the emir, I even saw a video where the emir was complaining about the tear gas. They had to fire tear gas. Is he right?
All right. We have company now. The caller is from Lagos here. And so, dear caller, I hope I don't have difficulty pronouncing your name. Please come on. What's the name again?
Okay, good evening, sir. Citizen Jones and Mr. Wajide.
We greet you.
And our third guest. My name is Ogbanago Mohammed Ibrahim.
Okay, Ogbanago Mohammed.
Ibrahim.
That's it.
Oh, yes, thank you, sir.
It's a familiar name. Let's go.
Exactly, thank you so much, sir. I think we should first start blaming our politicians with all this, with all this, because it started when the former governor, Ganduje, started interfering in the emirship of Kano State. And it continues, just like Bajide said. Now you will be waiting when there is another government or a governor in Kano State. That person who wants to install his own emir. And when we continue like this, it will continue destroying our, traditional institutions. That's why from now, let us start blaming, especially Ganduje. For me, I will blame Ganduje for what has happened in Kano. And that is how it will continue. And that's why when the NMPP people came, headed by Kwankwasia, they now say, no, we are bringing our own man back. That is why the problem will continue. And it will continue until we realize where we got it wrong. We'll never get it right.
Thank you, Ogbanago. Thank you. Dotun, we are encouraged by comments like this. So when I said Kano losing sleep, I'm not suggesting it's a figure of speech.
Well, whether it is a figure of speech or not, it has happened. It has happened because you can't go to sleep with two parties watching over themselves. You can't go to sleep. Look at the time the Bayero entered into Kano when he was coming back. Look at the way you can't go to sleep.
Yes, they have support. Both of them have tremendous support.
And it can turn violent at any
time. My reference to sleep would be, let me use the word peace.
Maybe one peace. Because even the security agencies can't sleep.
Yes.
No, they can't. They must be watching 24/7. Anything can happen. And
it's a tinderbox.
That town is hugely populated.
Oh yeah.
Hugely. You can't take it away from that town to erupt in seconds.
BKO talked about Sokoto. The Sokoto is akin to the Sultanate.
Oh, that's it.
So good old Kano, the emir, was seen as the
ultimate.
The
ultimate.
Putting a knife to the thing, and the last caller just talked about the interference from politicians. So if democracy would survive in my country, it's politicians. If it will not, it is still the politicians.
It's a big deal. And it's not just in Kano. Like you said, it's happening in Osun State.
Oh, yeah.
It's happening in Ogun. It's happening in so many states. So it means that there is something about that traditional state that we need to watch and work on.
And would you believe it that in good old Calabar, the Obong of Calabar, the stool is being challenged? So it's
still there.
All over.
It's everywhere. Whereas there used to be a succession system that worked.
That's it.
Yes.
That worked in those days.
Traditionally,
it used to be a succession system.
Look, if I throw this in, Bigo, the new Pope, the process of bringing the new Pope on will start on Wednesday.
Yes.
So that's a tradition that has been on for years and years. So why must we miss it here?
No, we've already talked about the influence of politics. I think Ganduje and the former the Emir Sanusi, they didn't get along. And the truth is, an Emir is not bigger than a governor. It's not even bigger than the local government chairman. He reports to the local government chairman.
Yeah, he reports to the
that
local
is
government.
what the Dasuki reform. That's what it put in place. So a governor that you disrespected can come for you, can send you packing.
Okay.
So as simple as that.
All right, folks, we'll take a break now, a commercial break. We should be back shortly. But please remember, this is Journalist Hangout on a Sunday. We'll be back shortly. Thank you.